Hi again, it's Mike, and this is lesson 3. And in lesson 3 we're going to learn some more little bits of pieces to practice and lay down before we do a picture with them. And we're going to learn how to lay down a wash, and how do we paint some hills so we get some foreground and background into them, and then to get some stars into the sky. The only additional piece of kit that we'll need today is we need an old toothbrush if we can find one. Right. Now, what's a wash? Well, we're going to lay down a wash on this area here, and it's laying down the paint so that the whole lot looks very identical all the way down. So when you lay the paint down with the brush, you overlap each line, so when you get to the bottom it all looks quite perfect in the same match. Then we're going to do a similar one over this side, but we're going to make it darker at the top and then make it lighter so it gets down to the as it gets down to the bottom. And that is what we do with skies, because very often overhead the sky is much darker than it is when it gets to the horizon. So that's what we're going to practice today on this one. Now, before we get started, when you mix, we need to mix some paint up. Now I'm going to use blue paint, and you need to make enough paint to make sure that you've got enough to cover all of this side. We're going to do two little pictures, so in this one here we need enough paint to cover all of that. If you run out of paint and you have to mix it up, this will dry, the next lot will look quite different. So that's where we're going to go. Now I've got some paint mixed up, and now we're going to have a little go and put this on here. And this is one across and then back again across and loop it over. That's it. So we lap each one as it goes down. There we are. Now it is actually making a little difference because the papers buckle a little bit, but the general idea is we've got a nice wash there, which is pretty much even all the way down. Now on this one here, on the other side, we're going to do a wash which is slightly darker to start with, and then we're going to take a little bit of water into the brush, so we now got a bit more water in there. And then a bit more again, and a bit more again, so we're getting this less paint and more water as we go down the page. There we are. So that is called a graded wash, and it's much darker at the top than it is at the bottom. And all we've done is, as we've used the brush with the original paint in and just put a little bit more water into it as we've gone down. Now we've got back to our little lesson from last time, which is a nice clean wet brush, and we're just going to take this out here, otherwise it'll dry much darker, and the same on this side. And when you go down and do these, where I put the masking tape across here to divide it up, make sure your paint goes right over the sides, otherwise you'll end up with little white chinky marks all the way down. Now that is the end of that little part of the lesson. And you can go and have a go at that, and then we'll come back in a couple of minutes and we'll look at putting some hills on. Right, we're back again. What we're going to do now is make the mountains. Now we need to mix up some purple, mauve, something like that, and we're going to put a little, draw on here a little picture of a mountain. It doesn't matter how you do it, but so you get some representation. You can make it a little bit bigger there, and perhaps coming down there like that. Right, now having done that, we're going to let that dry. That's dry now, and we're now going to put another layer over the top, because as hills and mountains get further away, so they get fainter, and the closer they are to you, the more they will stand out. So we're now going to put another one in here, and we're just going to go over this. And that's another layer. And now we're going to dry that one exactly as we did the last one. And that's dry. I'm just going to run over that one more time so that they stand out perhaps a little better. Just do that like this. That's it. And that one up there. Right, now we're going to dry these off one more time. And now we're going to put a little bit of definition into them again with another layer. So we'll come up here like this, and down here, and we'll put a little bit more on there, perhaps just on this one here as it comes down across that way, like that. Now you can start to see that you've got some real definition in there. Looks like we've got 2 or 3 layers of hills now. And that's the end of that little part of the exercises. So you all have a go at that, and then we'll come back and we'll catch up again in a few minutes. Right, we're back again for the final part of the lesson. Now, paper on, about an A5 side, take down, mix up a nice lot of black paint. You can do that with, as I said before, with either black or with brown and blue, but we need enough to cover the paper up. And I shall make a start. We might need 2 coats on this, but we'll see how we go, because what we want is a really nice dark night sky. I mean, you can actually do these in blue, but for the demonstration today, we'll make it black because it'll make them stand out better. And as again, we can just pull that down to the horizon. It doesn't have to be quite so dark. And I'm going to dry this off, and then I'm going to give it one more coat. Right, that's dry now. We're going to give it another coat. Just a quick run across, because you make it much darker each time you do it, and put another coat on, because watercolour always dries much lighter than it is when you first put it on. And once again, we can put a little bit of water on and just make this a bit lighter at the bottom. Right, I think that should do us now. Just one across there. That's it. Now I'm going to dry this out, and then we'll do our stars. Right, that's all nice and dry now, and we're now going to put some stars in. But the first thing we need is a little piece of paper, piece of kitchen towel, just to cover up that bottom part of the picture there, like that, so we don't get white paint all over it when we do the stars. I'm going to use white paint because it will show up a bit better for this, but if you want, when you do yours, you can put yellow in if you like. Now, what we've got to do now is get our toothbrush like that, and we're going to put it in some water, and then we're going to rub it into white paint, and then we're going to put the toothbrush here, and then we're going to hold it and put our finger on the bristles like that, then pull the bristles back and just let it go. You can put a bit more if you like. Sometimes you can put as many on as you like, but there we are. If we take that off now, and there are the stars in the side. Our last little job is to pull our paper off. Make sure, as I said before, you put it away from you. And again, pull this one away. And that is our starry sky. Right, that's all there is for this lesson. So let's just do a quick recap. Wash, which was a nice flat wash all the way down, very even, and then we did a graded wash where it was darker at the top and it came down lighter at the bottom. We then did our hills, which was across here where we did 1, 2, 3 layers, so the ones that receding into the distance and the ones at the front standing out, and then finally we went and did our starry sky. And that was the 3 things that we did. Now what we're going to do next time is we're going to take all of these elements and we're going to put them all into a painting of some mountains with a night sky and stars in it. And that's for the next lesson. Thanks for watching.